All right, just one more minute. Natalie, did we lose you tech-wise?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, I just can't see you.
Okay. I can turn my camera off if need be.
No, we don't need, okay, good. I just want to make sure we're here. Awesome. All righty, everyone. Well, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us for our holiday information webinar for our agency partners. My name is Kelly. I think I know most everybody on this call, so thank you so much for making time. I'm the Partner Services Manager here at the SLO Food Bank, and then my co-presenter is going to be Natalie DeRose, our Community Programs Coordinator, who should also be a very familiar face to everyone. And so welcome. And then hopefully everybody can see the slides on your screen. And if you can't see them for any reason, know that this webinar is being recorded. And so if you miss anything, there will be a completely recorded version for you to catch up on. And then we also encourage people to utilize the chat box, which I'll talk a little bit about. So yeah, here's our agenda. We're planning for about an hour of presentation and information. And we do want to get through that entire hour without pausing for questions, which I know is a lot of information, but we did allot 30 minutes at the end of the presentation to answer questions. So we'll be available for that time. But we wanted to get all the information out first in case someone didn't have a full 90 minutes to spend with us. So we're going to go through a couple main topics here. The first one being holiday schedules and closures, both for the SLO Food Bank and for our agency partners. We're really interested in what our agency partners' plans for the holidays are. So we're going to chat about how we can best share that information with each other. Most importantly, and probably why many of you are attending, we're going to talk about the SLO Food Bank holiday offerings to agency partners. So we'll be talking about our turkeys, our turkey breasts, and our hams, which will be pretty similar to 2023 distribution with a couple updates that we'll be going over. We're going to talk about our pre-order process, expectations, updates. So how can agency partners order these products and how that's going to work? And then we're going to go over a Season of Hope overview, which is a county-wide food drive that also happens during the holiday seasons. And so we want to see who all might be interested in that and give you a little more information so you can think about if your agency wants to participate this year. All right, a couple of housekeeping items that I'll just reiterate once more. We ask that you keep your cameras and microphones off during the presentation, but we can utilize them during the question and answer portion at the end, which will be clearly identified. Throughout the presentation, we highly encourage you to use the chat function on your screen to type your questions during the presentation so we can review them at the end. So you can access that in your upper toolbar. There should be a little speech bubble with the word chat under it. And if you click on it, it should open a chat in the right-hand corner of your screen that you can post. And when you post a question in there, keep in mind that everybody can see it. And if you post your questions as we go, it won't distract me and Natalie. And at the end of the presentation, we're going to start with the questions in the chat box, and then we'll open it up to the floor for people to just verbally ask questions. So that sounds good. And so maybe Tara can post in the chat so folks can see. Tara is also with the SLO Food Bank and kind of be helping with some tech things during. So maybe she'll post something in there so people can find it. And then this webinar will be recorded and it'll be shared with all agency partners. We're going to put it in our bulletin, and we're also going to make sure that it's posted on Primarius. And if you need it, you can always email us directly if you're having trouble finding it afterwards. We may not have it ready to release today, but definitely early next week as we make sure we have it all ready. So all righty. So thank you all for listening to that. And we're going to go ahead and move forward with the SLO Food Bank schedule. Alrighty, so hopefully everyone knows at this point that the SLO Food Bank kind of had a major shift this year in our fiscal year. So prior to this year, we were operating on a January through December fiscal year, which wasn't in line with a lot of organizations and businesses that we worked with in terms of our audits and financial records and things like that. So we've shifted to a more traditional fiscal year of July through June. And with that, we had quite a big transitions, such as being closed the last week of June for our inventory audit. So we do have one more update that is kind of a change to the calendar that we released a month or two ago. And so that update is we're going to be closed the week of Christmas to agency partner orders this last week, full week of December right here, which I'll talk about more in detail in a couple slides. And then I also have our other holidays for the rest of the year kind of highlighted so we can take a look at those. And so all in all, I'm going to provide more details, but I do want to hear, from our agencies after this presentation. If you want to give, send me an email or chat with me on the phone. I do want to hear how this December closure is going to impact your agency and, more importantly, all the people we're serving in our community. Our team's going to take that knowledge and feedback for future years to best ascertain how we can remain open but offer equitable reschedule options for agencies that fall on these impacted holidays that are back to back. Just knowing that we're always going to have kind of this schedule of Christmas and New Year's Day falling really closely together. So we do want to make it happen, but we also want to make sure it's equitable and sustainable, and we're doing the best possible. So this year, we're going to kind of stick to our original thing where we were closed traditionally between Christmas and New Year's, and then hopefully be able to adjust it in future years. And as you can see, we have some other holiday closures coming up. And so these closures in September for Labor Day, November for Veterans Day, and our Thanksgiving holiday, they impact the agencies who have scheduled pickups and deliveries these days. But hopefully other agencies have noticed it also impacts some of the surrounding days, and we need you to place your orders early. So just pay close attention to those days, especially if you're on that day for your scheduled pickup or delivery, or if you're close to it, like in the days after. These Tuesday, Wednesday folks are sometimes impacted too. Alrighty, so more specifically, let's talk a little bit about our plan for these upcoming holidays. A lot of our agencies who are impacted for Labor Day should have already heard from us. Labor Day, which is Monday, September 2nd, we are going to be fully closed, but Monday agency partners with scheduled pickups or deliveries have been offered a reschedule, or they can skip the order if you decide to skip. Same thing for Veterans Day. So those same Monday agencies, please be prepared. Mid-October, Natalie and I are going to reach out and ask you what you plan to do for Veterans Day. And you'll also be offered a reschedule opportunity, or if you are okay with skipping ordering that week, you can skip. And then moving forward into November, December. So Thanksgiving week, which falls kind of late in November this year, you'll notice it's the very last week of November, the 28th and the 29th. We will be closed both of those days, but agency partners who have scheduled pickups or deliveries those days can reschedule or skip if they choose. So we'll be reaching out in early November to those agencies, especially being 2 days in a row, to figure out what your plans might be. And then Christmas week, as I mentioned, this whole week of Christmas, we're going to be closed to agency partner orders. So no pickups, no deliveries. Everybody Monday through Friday will be skipping that week. We will have SLO Food Bank staff in office on these kind of lighter pink, peachy color days, the 23rd, 24th, 26th, and 27th. So if you do need assistance with something, or are taking care of end of the year paperwork and need information from us or anything like that, we will have folks in office. And then we are fully closed on Christmas Day. Something to keep in mind too for this week of Christmas is, while we are skipping all the agency partner orders, if you are a Monday or Tuesday agency here, this 30th and 31st, you will need to place your food orders for the 30th and 31st on these days right after Christmas, according to your pickup day. So please set a reminder in the holiday cheer, if you celebrate Christmas, to set a reminder the next day that you're going to have to order food still. And we'll be sure to be checking orders carefully to make sure we have them in and giving you a phone call if we don't see you. And then our last one for a little bit is going to be New Year's Day, which is Wednesday, January 1st. And agencies who have a scheduled pickup or delivery this Wednesday will be offered a reschedule opportunity, or they can choose to skip if you're not going to need food that week. So just keep an eye out, especially if you're a Monday or Wednesday agency, a couple different impacts there. And then our folks on Thanksgiving, if you're a Thursday, Friday. And if you're a Tuesday agency, you've lucked out and have the easiest time of all this year. Alrighty, and then I'm going to pass it off to Natalie, who's going to talk a little bit about how your agency can help keep the SLO Food Bank up to date as to what your plans are, and then in turn our community.
Thank you, Kelly. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to touch on our lovely food locator map. It's located on our Find Food under the food resources right here. It'll take you right here to this lovely screen and you can type in your address and your exact location. And on here we display our public food pantries, meal sites, and our neighborhood food distributions that take place throughout the county. It has our most up-to-date information versus our flyers, just since that's more time consuming and a lot of updates can happen. And this has been an especially helpful tool over the holiday times. So right here, you can see we have closed. This is just an example. And then right here, so this is Vivery, what we use for the map. It has these features where we can add in announcements. So like right here, we have the SLO Food Bank will be closed on September 2nd. We utilize most of these features to use each little one to let clients or other organizations utilizing this map know where to find the information and make sure that they're not just showing up to a pantry that or a meal site that's closed or has specific hours. And this cool program through Vivery also allows you to text clients and add photos of your program during a distribution or just the location. And you guys actually can gain access to it. If you need access or need to be onboarded, you can reach out to Kelly and I, and we can assist. This is definitely a good time to check to make sure that your information is all up to date. And then moving on, we have these lovely public holiday food resource list that we use within the SLO Food Bank. So Kelly and I will put together these lovely and helpful flyers. So right here we have one with the SLO County food pantries that are open during the week of Thanksgiving. And then this next one is with turkeys and turkey breast or just holiday meats. And then we also have the community Thanksgiving meals taking place because we tend to get some phone calls to the front of individuals looking for a meal or specifics for a Thanksgiving meal. And just to let you guys know, these flyers are not widely distributed or mass printed. We do ask and reach out for specific times to make sure that we have this and that we can cross-reference to other nonprofits. Moving on, this is an intermission, so if any of you have any questions, feel free to use the chat function, or you can go ahead and write down your question and we can get to it towards the end.
Thank you, Natalie. And then I did see Terry's question if is anyone else having difficulty seeing our screens? I imagine they might be kind of maybe they're blurry for you, Terry. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my camera. I know that's a little funky, and maybe Natalie will have you turn off yours too. It might just be internet speeds at home. And so if Natalie and I turn off our videos, your home Wi-Fi should only have to buffer the slides, and maybe that'll help. So yeah, I do apologize for that, Terry. We'll give everyone a moment. And if anybody else is having difficulty, let us know. Post it in the chat.
Are there slides now being presented?
There are.
Well, we don't see any.
Is anybody else not seeing any of them? Oh, Terry can't see anything. Okay, I'm going to exit out of our presentation and try starting it over and see if it'll appear for everyone then, okay?
Okay.
Slide 9. Okay, some people can see them, and I see. So here we go. They should be reappearing for you. And the slide should say mini intermission.
Okay, I can see it now.
Good. Okay, that's great news. Thank you, Craig. Terry, can you see him?
Yeah, I can see him. I've seen him the whole time.
Okay, good.
Good.
Yeah.
Kelly, this is Joyce. I'm unable to post a comment in the chat, just so you know.
Oh, okay. That is
My trouble with the screens is some of the screens being displayed had such small font that you really couldn't,
okay.
you
Okay.
know.
Okay, maybe let me I can download them as a PDF real quick and I'll post it in the chat. And then maybe folks can pull those up in a pinch. Can't display content. And in the recording, the slides will appear. And so let me just make this PDF real quick. I can post and then we'll be on our way. Thank you for letting us know. I know it's always something new on a video call. Keeps us on our toes, huh? Ooh, okay. You know what? It's not letting me post it in the chat. So let's see. I'm going to send this PDF to Tara as a file, and then she can email it to, it sounded like Terry Vale needed it. Joyce, you might need it. Is there anybody else who wants it emailed to them? If so, pop it in the chat with your email and we'll see if Tara can send those. But it will be recorded and you can hopefully still hear us. So thank you. Sorry about that all, folks. Alrighty, so moving forward. Let's see. Somebody. Okay. Perfect. Alrighty. So we went over our schedules. And so overall, we really want to know our agency partner plans. When are you going to be closed, especially if it's a day you would normally be handing out food? And then also the updates to the SLO Food Bank schedule. Please pay close attention to those. All right, so let's jump into holiday offerings. So I'm going to go over a kind of an entire game plan overview, and then we'll go more in depth on the later slides. So our distribution method is very similar to 2023 last year. We are going to be offering in November. We will be offering turkeys and turkey breasts to agency partners. So those are the same products we offered last year. We will also be collecting pre-orders on Microsoft Forms. So this is kind of the only time we do a bulk pre-order for agency partners or even an order of food that's not through Primarius. And so we're going to be using online forms to collect that information. These are going to be limited by agency size. And so we're going to limit them by agency size, which I'll talk about more later. And then our turkeys and turkey breasts are offered at 30% co-op price. So the SLO Food Bank uses wholesale purchasing power to get a really good rate on turkeys. And on top of them, we offer 70% off that the SLO Food Bank covers the cost of for our agency partners. And we ask agency partners to pay just 30% of the total cost. In December, we're going to offer hams again. The hams are going to be on weekly food ordering on Primarius with lower limits so that they're going to fit on those orders and kind of help our hams last in December. And they will also be at a 30% co-op price. So I think last year the hams were around $4 and it might be comparable. We're still sourcing them. I do want to note one thing about the hams is last year the SLO Food Bank got an incredibly generous donation of hams in December that was very significant. I do not anticipate getting that generous donation again. Of course, if something comes up, we would absolutely try our best to accept it, but it was kind of a one-time thing. So we are going to have less hams this year just because we don't have that beautiful donation. Again, it was a specialty thing that we loved. And then ongoing throughout these months and while supplies last, we're going to be offering some holiday sides, which I have info on, as well as any donated proteins. So while we may not have that big bulk donation of hams coming again, we do have some fundraisers and different groups in the community, and then just community members who come and donate. Generally, whole frozen turkeys to us is the most common item. And so as those are available, we will offer them to agency partners on Primarius. And all of our donated products are offered for free, which is really cool. So turkeys, I have pricing and case information. So our turkeys this year are going to be $4.05 per bird. They're going to be 4 per case, so 4 whole turkeys in a case. And the estimated weight is 10 to 14 pounds per turkey. So not too big, but hopefully not too small. Our turkey breasts are going to be $2.69 per unit. There's going to be 6 total per case, and we're going to have 4 to 9 pounds per unit. And so this is very similar to last year. I will say one exciting update is that both our turkeys and turkey breasts are actually cheaper than they were last year. Both of them by over a whole dollar. So that's really awesome. We really got a good rate on those this year, which we're happy for to be able to offer to you all. Holiday sides, we're still finalizing some of this information, and holiday sides is one of them. And so right now what we have confirmed is that we're going to have turkey stuffing and instant mashed potatoes offered for free to agency partners, and you can see the case quantities here. These are going to be available just on weekly ordering on PWW starting in late October, early November. Our idea is, since they are shelf stable, that agencies can start ordering them and stocking up, so you can kind of plan and see how much you can get for the holidays before going out to purchase your own at grocery stores if your agency plans to do that. And we'll release more information as like agency size limits and things like that as we get closer to that date. And then I did want to ask, since we're still sourcing some holiday sides, we are open to sourcing holiday sides that would be offered on our co-op menu. So we would want to get items that your agencies want to offer, but try to see if we can get those items at a better wholesale rate for your agencies so that you're not paying full grocery store prices. So if there are any of those sides that you would want to see, go ahead and put them in the chat, or you can email me after or make a note of it. Just would really like to know what other holiday sides your agency would like to see, especially if it's something the food bank hasn't thought of before that's maybe serving a different culture or for a different holiday, and things like that around this time frame. Things that you would like to see in addition to kind of the traditional turkey stuff, because I know there are other things we see. Ooh, that's a good one, taffy cranberry sauce. You're right. Masa. Oh my gosh, love it. Keep them coming. Those are great suggestions. Thank you. Alrighty. And then I'm going to hand it off to Natalie to talk a little bit about our kind of ongoing product offerings that you might see on Primarius.
Thank you. Yeah, so during the holiday season, kind of what Kelly mentioned is we receive donated products from community members. So over here to the right, you can see this generous man donated about 10 turkeys to us. These turkeys are going to be listed on PWW for weekly food ordering. And they won't be uniform like our SLO Food Bank provided products because, as we said, they do come from different sources. And another thing to make note of is the weight is estimated, and that we won't be taking requests for specific sizes, but we will keep an eye out for the abnormally large turkeys that sometimes come through. And as Kelly mentioned too, that these will be offered for free. Moving on to hams, they're going to be again offered through weekly food ordering this December. It's going to be available roughly the first or second week of December. We want to make sure that agencies can get them. They are going to be limited by size, agency size, and those limits will be similar to last year as well. And again, we cannot offer more than your agency's weekly limit for equality purposes, and they'll be available while supplies last. As of now, the hams will be refrigerated, but it is subject to change because we have not finalized it quite yet. And moving on, here is a timeline roughly of what we're offering and when we'll be offering it. It just highlights important dates and deadlines for your agencies to keep note of. Another note that it's not on here, but right around this time, let me change this, right here between September 20th and October 28th, Kelly and I will be taking the time and communicating to APs our finalized count of what you've pre-ordered. And yeah, moving forward, we have another mini intermission. So if any of you guys have any more questions regarding the turkeys and the hams of what we just talked about, again, go ahead and jot them into the chat. I love how you guys are utilizing it. And yeah.
Thank you, Natalie. All right. Okay, so we kind of talked about what we're offering. We gave the timeline preview of what we're offering and things like that. So I'm going to talk about now a couple updates to the pre-order process that we will be planning to do. Perfect. Yeah, so I mentioned before that this pre-order process we do through Microsoft Forms is one of the only times that we collect information from agencies about food ordering outside of Primarius. And because of that, it's a really big effort on our staff time, and it's a really busy time of year for everyone. So we're always looking for a way to improve our process, but also with a major focus on equitable distribution to our agency partners, and then in turn, the people we are all serving, and then also distributing food safely and practicing safe food storage, and then maintaining a sustainable load for both our SLO Food Bank team members, as well as all the volunteers and staff at our agency partner organizations. I completely understand. I think a lot of us recognize it's probably one of the busiest times of the year for everyone. So this pre-order process is going to function similar to prior years, but these are some of the impactful changes that we're making this year to our procedures that I want to touch on more in depth, just because they're kind of updates. So we're gonna, for the first time ever, limit the pre-order turkeys and turkey breasts by agency size. So I'll talk about that in a sec. This year, only large and extra large sized agencies will qualify for deliveries. This is, in all honesty, not going to impact a ton from prior years because we had a minimum weight requirement for deliveries. And so often our smaller agencies wouldn't order that many products because it would kind of tier. So it's just a slightly different way of looking at it. This year, we're not going to be able to offer weekend deliveries with our delivery schedule. So we're going to ask that they happen Monday through Friday. All the pre-orders are going to be in even case quantities, and all of the turkey products will be offered frozen. So I'm going to talk a little bit more in depth about those as we go forward. All right, so our first one is the pre-order form this year is going to ask your agency to order turkeys and turkey breasts in even case quantities. And so this is to help our team ensure order accuracy. It's going to ensure that when we're building larger pallets, they're easier to transport and they're easier for your agency to count that you received all your product accurately. And they're going to help just keep this really valuable product all accounted for. And so we can avoid having literally loose birds like in this picture. And so how is that going to work on your pre-order form? Unfortunately, Microsoft, in all its wisdom, does not let the pre-order form, when you enter your requested amount of turkeys or turkey breasts, it won't automatically make your agency round to an even case quantity. So on the pre-order form, it's going to remind you on the question when it asks how many turkeys you want to order, it's going to say must be a multiple of 4 because our turkeys come in cases of 4. And then for turkey breasts, there will be a reminder that says must be a multiple of 6. And so if we do see agencies order that accidentally come through with an uneven case quantity, our team is going to be automatically rounding your agency down. We're going to round you down to the next even case. We will notify your agencies so you're aware of it, but that's something that you need to keep an eye out, and we'll put reminders on the pre-order form. That's a major update, but it's all to hopefully ensure order accuracy for everyone and make sure that we get you the requested amount and help make it easier on our team to keep track of all of our products as well. And then another new update this year is we're going to limit by agency size. And so the limits by agency size, every agency partner is already experiencing this on Primarius. So we generally limit all of our products offered on Primarius with the exception of co-op products, which are offered at cost to agency partners. Those have really high limits because it's a bulk purchasing program. But for these subsidized products, we are going to be offering them by agency size this year in an effort to be more equitable to our partners and thus all the clients we're serving. So in prior years, we had a high limit for all agencies, but this year we're going to have these limits that are indicated for each of the agency sizes. And so the agency sizes, in case your agency isn't aware, are actually based on those monthly demographic statistics that every agency submits on Primarius. So I average these statistics and assign each agency a size, and then I redo this about quarterly. So every 3 months, I'll pull the data from the past 3 months and see if agencies have resized. And so this is why it's important to keep accurate records and track participants, especially if your agency is seeing an increase in visitors. Um, You'll notice that it tiers up with our agency sizes what the total limits for your pre-order are to try and proportionally match how many products we're providing to our sized agencies depending on how many people you're serving. And so this is really in an effort for the SLO Food Bank to provide more equitably to all our agency partners. To give you just an idea of a little bit of context of kind of the scope we're working on, we have about 71 active nonprofit agency partners right now, which is amazing. We've been hovering right around 71 the whole year, and everybody's utilizing their food ordering at a really like the highest rate I have ever seen. And that's probably responding to the increase in need we're seeing. The average amount of people served each month by a small agency right now is 17 people per month, which can be really impactful because those are sometimes some of the people with a very acute need, or they're in a rural area, and so things like that. So 17, and then the average amount of people that an extra large agency is serving this month, for example, is 1,215. So we have a very diverse group of partners, and so in an effort to kind of match those proportions of people serving and product offered, we're going to do these case limits. And I did see John's question in the chat. There are a couple different ways to figure out what your agency size is. So when your agency gets the email with the pre-order form, which is going to be on September 9th, in the email, we're going to customize it to say your agency is a size small or your agency is size medium, for example. The other way that you can tell right away what your agency size is, if you log on to Primarius and click on this in the upper taskbar, there should be like a little person icon, kind of like a little user icon. And then if you click on My Agency, right underneath it, it'll open this little pop-up menu. Right on the My Agency page, you're going to see this display. And it'll be your agency size and agency site size. We use those interchangeably, and that's one way you can tell what your agency size is. And then we'll also be sharing it in the email, or you can always ask me or Natalie as well. And then moving along with these new limits, it's also going to impact who's eligible for delivery. And so in prior years, we had a minimum weight requirement for a special turkey delivery. This year, the agencies that will be able to even hit what that minimum weight requirement is based on the products that they can order are going to be our large and extra large agencies. So only our large and extra large agencies are going to be eligible for delivery, as well as agencies currently receiving a delivery, which is also our large and extra large, although we do have a couple smaller agencies that added on as accessories. So something to keep an eye on in the pre-order form. If you're a small and medium agency and request delivery, we will be reaching out to ask that you switch to pickup. For our large and extra large agencies, let's say you are a large agency, but you only choose to order 10 turkeys and then you request a delivery, we will also be asking you to switch to a pickup. So we are still going to be looking at the total order weight. And if you can order more, but choose to only order a couple turkeys that are feasible to do during a pickup, we'll ask you to be switching to pickup. And I think Natalie mentioned this on the timeline though, but we ask for the pre-orders in September, which is pretty early. And then our team has all of October to look at every single pre-order that we've received, make sure we have time to contact any agencies we need to have specific conversations with or brainstorm ideas. And so that's like really why it's helpful for you all to get your orders in. And then we have like those weeks in October to be able to plan and make sure everybody's aware of what's going on. So another area for deliveries this year is we're kind of asking for some more flexibility from our large and extra large agencies. So on the pre-order form, we're going to ask agencies to list all possible delivery days and times that they can accept a delivery. And then we're going to kind of strategize from there where and when and in what quantities we're going to be able to make those deliveries happen. And so our team right now with deliveries is putting out more food than ever to both our agency partners and our neighborhood food distributions. And we're running on really tight truck routes right now. And then another feature that we're hitting, especially with a lot of our like fresh produce offerings that have been kicking in this summer, and with turkeys being a heavier product, is that our trucks do have very specific weight capacities for safety reasons. So when we're dealing with really heavy products like turkeys and turkey breasts, that's something we have to be really mindful of, and we have to look at all of our routes really closely. So that's just where we're asking for some flexibility from our agency partners so that we can safely provide these products to you, and then also make sure that, you know, when we pick a delivery day and time, our team can actually be there during that time, and we won't have, you know, impacts and people rushing around, you know, with a really heavy truckload and things like that. Another thing this year is our team does not have capacity for Saturday and Sunday deliveries. And so we will ask that special turkey deliveries happen Monday through Friday from those. And then we do ask agencies receiving a delivery to make sure they have enough volunteers to unload the turkeys and turkey breasts when we drop them off. Our team members are doing a lot of heavy lifting during this time. And so we're asking that our agencies have volunteers ready to do that. All right, we're still going through updates. Thanks for bearing with me. So we're making a slight adjustment too for our pickup and delivery schedule for bulk orders of turkeys and turkey breasts. We're asking agencies to plan to receive these products on or before the Friday before Thanksgiving. So Friday, November 22nd, which is highlighted right here. One major reason for this is it takes about 3 to 4 days for a 15-pound turkey to safely thaw in the refrigerator. And so we have agency partners who, if you were to receive your turkeys this week of Thanksgiving, for example, let's say an agency received turkeys on Monday the 25th and they're going to be frozen. If you distributed them, let's say Tuesday the 25th, if the family or a person that received that turkey intends to eat it on Thanksgiving Day, you know, if they celebrate Thanksgiving, it's kind of the traditional turkey day, they would not have enough time to really safely thaw and cook that product. So that's one reason we really want these products to be handed out frozen, and so that people can safely thaw them at home. Because once a product is thawed, it really should be consumed immediately and cooked immediately. So it's a major focus on food safety. Another reason too is the turnaround. I mentioned that Thanksgiving falls pretty late this year, and we want to be able to offer hams to agency partners starting Monday, December 2nd. So if we cut off our turkeys going out the door and try and get them all out the door by Friday, November 22nd, that'll give our team this week of Thanksgiving to prepare for hams so that we can also get those hams turned around really quick. And so that's kind of what these are depicting here. Okay, so kind of an update on deliveries and things. We appreciate your patience very much with these updates. And if you have like really specific impacts you want to chat through with me, you know, Natalie and I are going to be available. We can talk about that. Our team is really ready to serve you in our community. And we just know it's really busy. So we appreciate your patience and flexibility and increased volunteer presence. And so we're excited to get these products to you. And we just want to make sure we're doing it safely and efficiently, and in time for the people ultimately receiving the turkeys or turkey breasts to like safely cook and prepare them at their leisure. And then I've touched on this, but reiterating, we're only going to offer turkeys and turkey breasts frozen. We're not going to be thawing them. But to help with this, I'm jumping ahead. And I kind of touched on this too, but just a reminder, please only order what your agency can safely store and safely distribute. We would hate for somebody at home to get sick from a turkey if it partially thawed and they didn't know it, or things like that. So we're encouraging agencies to only store your turkey products in a freezer until they're distributed to the ultimate recipients. The safest thawing method for turkeys or turkey breasts is in the fridge, and keep in mind that does take, for especially the bigger birds, that takes a couple days and needs to be planned ahead. Once a turkey or turkey breast is thawed, it should be cooked immediately. So we recommend you distribute the products so recipients can thaw it at home. And if you're a meal site, make sure you have a plan to cook that turkey as soon as it's thawed so that it's not hanging out thawed in the fridge. They do not last long that way. And then as a gentle reminder, we do not recommend thawing and then refreezing any products. It's best that it's frozen once, thawed once, and then ultimately cooked once. And then to help with this, because we know it's a lot of information and we've gotten some requests for this, Our nutrition team has been working hard to generate a bilingual flyer, and the SLO Food Bank is going to provide basically for every turkey or turkey breast your agency receives, we're going to give you an equal number of these flyers that are going to be in English and Spanish. They're going to have some preparation tips about how to safely thaw and what to plan for people. We're going to have some cooking recommendations and things like that, and then we're going to have a recipe for a whole turkey. And if your agency has specific guidance or needs specific guidance or has received specific questions in the past about how to prepare a turkey or things like that, please reach out to us ahead of time. We have a team that has, a lot of experience and information, or we can consult if we don't have an answer, and we would love to help provide guidance. And then something else too is I'm going to be sharing this flyer with our agency council, which is the advisory board for Natalie and I, basically, of agency partners. There's about 8 to 12 agency partners that give us feedback each month. So we're going to ask them to take a look at this flyer and give us any feedback so that we can have it nice and ready for everybody come November. And those will be provided for free to agency partners. And our hope is that for everyone who receives a turkey, you hand them a flyer too to help them out. All right, so we're going to do a mini intermission, seeing some questions, which are awesome. So any questions about our updates, which are listed here, about even case quantities, limits by agency size, kind of our updated delivery parameters and expectations, turkey products being offered frozen, any questions related to that, please pop them in the chat so we can make sure we get to them later. Alrighty, and then I'm going to pass it back to Natalie, and she's going to talk about, to prepare for the pre-order process, what information your agency should plan to have ready.
Thank you. Yeah, so some information that your agency should have ready before filling out the pre-order form. Most importantly is your agency's main contact information, so the best phone number and email to reach them at. Kelly and I, during the holiday season, make a lot of phone calls and email. Know your agency's holiday schedule and closures. We're going to be asking for those dates so that we can update that food locator map, along with utilizing those few resource flyers that I mentioned earlier. I know some of you couldn't see the screen. Another one is know your size limits. As Kelly mentioned, we'll be sending out an email with that. And then offer up multiple pickup and delivery options. As Kelly said, we want to be flexible, very busy season. Your distribution days and times for the holiday offerings, again, for that resource flyer. And then another important note is to ensure that your agency will have enough volunteers for your delivery or pickup, just so Frank at the door is not getting too bombarded and stuff. Moving on. So yes, have all of this information ready by September 9th or in this time window so you are ready to fill out that pre-order form. It's going to be open that September 9th through September 20th at 5 p.m. It's going to be sent to the main contact on each agency partner's account. So please keep an eye out for that main contacts. So now that we've kind of talked about that, how can the SLO Food Bank prepare? So Kelly and I will be monitoring the pre-orders as they come through and reaching out with any follow-up questions. And like we mentioned, we're going to be sending out the confirmation emails of the holiday products you're going to be receiving. And then we're going to be providing that turkey informational flyer for clients. And then lastly, Kelly and I will be available to schedule a 30-minute phone call or in-person meeting to help with any of your needs, so that we can be there and be present to answer any of the questions that you have. Moving from there, I'm going to pass it back to Kelly to discuss Season of Hope.
Hey, thank you so much, Natalie. So we will definitely be available for everyone's questions, and you can expect specific emails with the pre-order form. And I'm working also on a printed version of this information that's a holiday information guide. So we'll be sure to share all of those ahead of the pre-order day of September 9th when that window opens. And so kind of our last major piece here before we wrap up and do questions is another ongoing effort during this time that our agency partners have participated, many of you on this call have participated in, is the Season of Hope food drive. So for those of you who don't know, Season of Hope is an annual food and toy drive that's hosted by KSBY. Since KSBY provides coverage to San Luis Obispo and Santa Barbara counties, the food and toy drive is actually a large effort between those two counties as well. So it's a dual county food drive and toy drive. Different sponsors through KSBY host food and toy barrel/box donation sites where folks can donate food or toys during this season. They're generally fire stations, medical centers, and kind of like those public offices that want to get involved in the holiday cheer. In San Luis Obispo County, the SLO Food Bank and our nonprofit partners are the recipients of the food. In Santa Barbara County, Santa Barbara Food Bank and their partners are the recipients of the food in that county. And then generally, Salvation Army is the toy recipient in our county, so they take care of the toys. And this starts in mid-October, although it doesn't really pick up until later in November, but the technical start date is mid-October and it runs through mid-December. So it's a really good opportunity for our agency partners to get involved with pickups and, more importantly, get some free shelf-stable food. So I'm going to hand it back to Natalie so she can talk a little bit about what participating looks like. If your agency is kind of interested in this, if you haven't participated before, we would love to have you.
Yeah. So, oh, looks like I lost the presentation.
I'll take it, Natalie. I got you. We're almost near the end, so we should be okay. So yeah, how can your agency get involved with Season of Hope? Is you can kind of adopt and decide to pick up the food from one or more locations. You may have noticed on the slide before this, we had over 60 locations countywide, all the way from San Miguel all the way to Napomo last year. We have a lot in San Luis Obispo City proper. And so your agency partner can get involved, and the pre-order form is also going to ask you if you're interested in being involved this year, so we can avoid multiple forms going out at the same time. And we're going to ask if your agency is interested, and if you are, how many sites you might want to pick up and in what regions. And so we really want this effort to provide more food to agency partners. It should be shelf-stable donations only, although sometimes community members are a little confused and throw in something that's not in there, but I think it's generally pretty rare there. And then KSBY really wants to know their impact with this campaign, and the food bank is interested in that too. So we do ask agencies to kind of get some simple weights of the food you're donating, and the SLO Food Bank is able to assist with that if your agency might need a scale or anything like that. We have instructions and we'll kind of give you an overview and be there to support throughout the season. So if you're interested in participating this year, think about it, or maybe ask if your team, if volunteers are interested in spearheading it. I've seen that be really successful if like a volunteer wants to kind of lean in on this holiday effort and who might want to pick up. And we would love to hear. So we're going to ask that information. All righty, so kind of an overview of the main things for scheduling. So on the pre-order form, we're going to kind of have three main sections that we're going to ask your agency to provide information for. The first one is scheduling. Is your agency going to have any special hours or closures that the food bank should be aware of in November, December, and January, especially if those fall on days where your agency would normally be distributing food to the public? We really want to make sure that we're informing our public about those changes so that somebody who's looking for food around the holidays just doesn't show up somewhere that's closed, because that can be really frustrating for them. And we want to try to avoid that. So please take a look at the schedule, figure out a plan, and let us know. Will your agency be offering a public holiday distribution that we can put on our flyer? And I did want to reiterate those flyers. The SLO Food Bank does not mass print those and hand them out by the hundreds. We really use them, though, as an internal tool for our team. When folks call our front desk line, which really picks up during the holiday season, we like to be able to give them up-to-date and honest information. And so we never promise them a turkey, but if you agree to list our information, we can encourage them to go to the food distribution or their pantry close to them and see if they can get some items to help out during the holidays. But we don't ever guarantee it, and we try really hard not to mass distribute that because we don't want to overwhelm our agency partners during this holiday season. We know that's a concern, so we stay mindful. For Season of Hope Food Drive, is your agency interested in participating? If you need more information before you decide, please reach out to me. And if you are interested, what regions do you want to pick up food donations in? And how many sites might your agency want to adopt? And then turkeys and turkey breasts, know your agency size, look on Primarius, ask me, pay attention to the email where it'll be indicated. When you're ordering on that pre-order form, make sure you're ordering in even case quantities to avoid rounding down. Make sure you know the quantities that you would ideally like to order to be able to put in that request. And then if you're just general flexibility for pickup delivery times, really, really helps our team. And then another thing I'd recommend too is you probably want to allot maybe 20 to 30 minutes to place the pre-order form. That's a very generous window, but just want to make sure. And then also if you do get on the pre-order form, if you log onto the pre-order form and you're completing it, I recommend completing it between Monday and Friday between 8:30 and 5 p.m. So kind of business hours, because that way if you run into an issue, you can give me or Natalie a call and we can help get that pre-order submitted for your agency. If it's outside of our working hours, we're happy to help you if you email us, but we just won't be able to help you in that moment. So something to keep in mind when you sit down to do it. And then lastly, please make sure your agency only submits one pre-order per agency. So I know sometimes we have different volunteers or staff members who lean in. So just make sure your agency knows who's ultimately going to submit that, so we don't get duplicates, because then we're going to have to call you and figure out what's going on, which we will do if it happens, but just chat amongst yourselves. All right. So thank you all for paying such close attention during this and putting up with a few couple technical difficulties. This webinar is being recorded and we will be emailing it, and we can email the slides as well if you had difficulty seeing those. This information is going to be presented in print, and it's going to be emailed to agency partners before that pre-order window. And then we're also going to have that list of information that you all should have ready. We're available for questions ahead of the pre-ordering window. We're going to share this information in our September bulletin and set a reminder that the pre-order form is going to be sent out September 9th, and it'll be closing September 20th at 5 p.m., which is a Friday. So you have 2 full weeks to submit that pre-order. We recommend keeping a close eye on that. All righty, so question time. I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera on again. And so I'm going to start with the ones in the chat, and then I'll open it up to the floor. Let me find the first of them. Okay. Yes, we have a question from Tracy. Will the turkey breasts be uncooked and bone in again this year? They will be uncooked, Tracy. They're going to be frozen. I need to find out if they are going to be bone in. And then in the future, is it possible to offer pre-cooked frozen turkey breasts? I think in the future it could be. I've had a request for a pre-cooked option before. It's definitely on our radar. That's something I'll need to talk to our food procurement person in the future. I think another opportunity I can make note of this is, at the end of the year, we do the agency partner satisfaction survey. So maybe that's something I'll include a specific holiday items section and ask people if they would prefer pre-cooked over a raw option, because I'd like to get a better sense of what percentage of agencies prefer those things, just to see what we could get the best deal on. But the turkey breast will be uncooked, and I will definitely check in about the bone in them. I was kind of under the impression they didn't have bones in the turkey breasts. I have to be fully honest, though, I don't eat meat, so I'm not the best person, but I will find out and put that in our follow-up email. And then I see some wonderful holiday side suggestions. John Henry, I can look up your agency size for you and email it to you, but I want to say off the top of my head, I think you're a medium. Zach, the exact dimensions, I don't know of the turkey and turkey breast cases, but I will measure them and send them out. I will add that to our list. We will have that information. I don't have it at the exact moment. Taffy, we can absolutely get a digital file for you to share on Instagram with your students. And I think if my memory serves you, we might need to find something a little more turkey breast specific for your folks. So maybe we'll work on that for some, knowing what college students might not have like a full oven, for example. We can see if we can find some stuff for that.
Yeah, and also for where the meals are going to be happening, the
Mm.
community meals.
Yes.
Thank you.
We do plan to make that community meals flyer again for sure. And then we will have that for sure. Rocio. Yes, I'm going to find the slide with the turkey. Here we go. Yeah, so Rocio asked the size and weight of the turkeys. They're always estimated, Rocio, so they come 4 per case, and the way it works is that case will have the entire weight of the case on it. I don't think it breaks it down by individual birds. So based on that total weight per case, the average weight per bird is estimated to be 10 to 14 pounds. So hopefully nothing too huge. That's our estimated. There are going to be a couple that are under 10 and a couple that are over 14. The average should fall between 10 and 14. And then same thing for the turkey breasts. We get a total case weight, but we know there are 6 per case, and that averages out 4 to 9 pounds per unit. And we do keep an eye out too if, especially for our donated turkeys that are offered on weekly food ordering, if every now and then we get like a giant turkey that's 20 pounds or more, I'll usually reach out directly to an agency that serves a lot of people because they usually can identify it's usually like a really large family that could use a really large turkey. And so we'll kind of, the big ones we try to keep an eye out so somebody doesn't get a surprise of like, oh my gosh, what do I do with this bird? And then the next question we have is from Jackie. Is there going to be a form or email sent out to sign up for Season of Hope? Absolutely. It's actually going to be included in our pre-order form this year. Last year it was 2 separate Microsoft forms, and there's just so much going on during the holidays. I was going to combine them. So it's going to be a longer pre-order form, but hopefully we only have to collect all that information once. That being said, though, there is a gap. You know, we are asking for the pre-order form in September, and I know sometimes that's a little early before agencies know all their holiday information. So if you change your mind or decide you want to participate later or anything, just reach out to us and we'll see what we can do. We're going to try and be flexible with that and communicate deadlines as we know them ahead of time for sure. But you can expect to see the initial interest gauging for Season of Hope in the pre-order form. And then, yes, Zach, totally understand. We want to know the case dimensions because they have to go in freezers. So absolutely. And then John Henry, yes, you can order both. That's a really good question, John Henry. And let me go to that slide again for the limits. John Henry asked, can we order turkey breasts and turkeys? Yes. So this slide with the order limits, every agency can order turkeys and turkey breasts and can max them out. So a medium agency, for example, can order 24 turkeys and 24 turkey breasts and then decide, you know, some people might only want a turkey, or maybe how you distribute them is up to you, but you can order both. One thing worth mentioning is if your agency chooses not to max out one limit or the other, so let's say you're a medium agency and you only want 12 turkeys, but you do want all 24 turkey breasts, we don't cross the limits over. So you can't have, you can't say like, oh, I didn't order 12 turkeys, so I want to get 12 more turkey breasts. The limits are just by each product. And so if you order less of one by choice, you can't subsidize it by adding more to the other, if that makes sense, but you can order both. And then Michelle asked the current agency size. It is listed on Primarius, the PWW, where you go to order food, and we are going to be emailing it to agencies. I'm looking for my slide that shows how to find agency sizes, and I am feeling, here it is. It's right after this one. Duh, Kelly. So on Primarius, there should be this little icon in the upper taskbar, like the shop button is usually at the far left here. And then if you click on my agency, it'll display your size right here. And then we'll also be emailing it. And if you can't find it, let me know. Jack has a good, Jack, so generally the SLO Food Bank does not get involved with the toys for the Season of Hope, just because it's a little outside our scope. Historically, the local Salvation Army branches have been the beneficiaries of the toys. And so I encourage you to contact them ahead of time to see how you might be able to get some toys, if you're looking to hand those out to kiddos. And then if you need help reaching out to a Salvation Army, I have contacts, so you can let me know and we can get you connected. It's kind of a good question. I always wonder how they work that way, so maybe I'll ask them. And then Terry asked, do I have the statistics of the turkeys you ordered last year? I do. And if that would help your agency plan to know what you ordered last year and what you did, feel free to reach out. We have extensive records with all that information, and I'd be happy to share it with you if that's helpful. So I think that was all the questions in the chat. Natalie or Tara, please holler if I missed one. And then, yeah, I'd like to open the floor if anybody wants to unmute and ask a question. Or even better, if there are multiple people, you can raise your hand too, and I'll just try to call on you. If you have a question, let me know. And if nobody speaks up, feel free to go for it.
Couple of questions from the Lions.
Hi, Lions. I'm ready.
No, you're not. First question. Are we eligible, do you think, for, we never know what our agency size is. So we've always been able to purchase a lot of turkeys, but can we get, in your estimation, can we get 8 cases?
I'll email you after this webinar, Chuck, your exact size. How's that?
Okay.
And your limits. Does that work?
That'd be spectacular.
Awesome.
The other question I have was stuffing. You have stuffing available for Thanksgiving?
We do. That is one of our confirmed holiday sides that we are going to purchase and offer for free to agency partners. They're going to come in cases of 24 boxes at 5.25 ounces each.
Do you know what kind it is? Just out of
Not,
curiosity.
I don't know yet, but when we have a picture, I'll be sure to share it with agencies, and we'll have a picture of the case. And so we'll have that shared as soon as it's not in-house yet. So, but it'll probably be.
Same thing with mashed potatoes?
Yeah, they're going to be free. They're in bigger boxes. I think they're boxes. They might be the bag kind, but either way, instant mashed potatoes. I'm pretty sure they were boxed last year, and they're going to be 24 at 13 ounces each. And so when we have photos and more information about like weekly limits, we'll be sure to post that.
Okay. And cranberry sauce. Any availability?
That's a really good suggestion. I loved the holiday side suggestions in general, and I will definitely ask about cranberry sauce. One thing I know that we sometimes run into with some of the requested holiday sides is the SLO Food Bank does follow a nutrition policy for the food that we source. So we do have some thresholds of food that we will source based on sugar level and saturated fat level and added sugar levels. Sometimes some of the cranberry sauces have a lot of added sugar, so they fall outside our nutrition policies. So, but that's something we'll definitely investigate. There was another item that kind of caught my attention that I think Bruce suggested, the stuff for pies, sometimes canned pumpkin also has a lot of added sugar, and same with pie crust. So we'll try to look at those items, but sometimes that's why we can't get them. But we'll check. We'll still look into it because they were really good suggestions. And then we can be a little more flexible sometimes with our donated food. We do have policies, but sometimes with donated food, since we're not explicitly sourcing like a large amount of it, we can have a little more wiggle room. So that's something our team can look into too. Season of Hope is a good spot maybe though to get some of those as well.
Okay.
Any others, Chuck and Craig?
Well, the one question I have is our agency size is small during the year, but during Thanksgiving we are huge. So I don't know how that works.
Yeah, maybe I can connect with you two separately to chat through some of that. And we might find there's some overlap too between some of the agencies involved. Some of them on the coast might be partners of us too, or be working with other partners. So maybe we can chat through some of that and see what's going on.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. Thank you both.
I think that's the end of our questions.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, if you have more, you can ask them. Let's see. Any other questions that folks have that I can answer? I don't see any hands up. Toys. Well, wonderful. If there are no more questions, I think we've wrapped up early, which is kind of nice. Thank you all so much for attending and for your suggestions and bearing through some technical difficulties with us. And we will work very hard to get this information out early next week, as well as in the September bulletin. And then everybody can just be ready for that September 9th pre-order window. And if you need to reach out to us ahead of time with any specifics, please do. We're more than happy to talk about it. That's why Natalie and I are here, and excited that we can all prepare for hopefully a really good holiday season together. Thank you.